Oh boy. Look, all I can say is that there needs to be a place for people who hate the cops to go and live without having to worry about the cops for nothing. And let them live there. See how well it goes. See how it goes. Think about it. It's like the cops are there doing their job. Now, I've been in a situation before where there was undercover cops running around with guns out in the street, kids out and everything. People didn't know people thought, they didn't know they were cops. So it's like, you're putting a lot of people at risk. This could really turn sideways because nobody knew you were cops. You're just running around with guns. You didn't identify yourself at all. This is dangerous. I get that. Now, this is different because you had uniformed police officers, and while this happened in public with people around, they were simply just trying to serve a warrant. And for people to turn on them because of what happened, it's like, that's ridiculous. Like, I get it if you see a cop beating somebody and you feel as though it's unjust or unfair, and it makes you angry, and the crowd forms and they record it and they hurl insults, and I get that because from your point of view, you're seeing an injustice. But a cop serving a warrant against somebody who apparently has a very terrible criminal record, like, you should be glad that these kind of people, the cops, are going after these kind of people. Now, this whole idea of turning against the cops proves the point that I've made in several videos before. And if I can remember which one it is, I'll link it. But what I said before is that black people don't want their communities to change. And I'm being general. Every black person ain't the same, obviously, but I'm just speaking generally. Black people don't want the situations in their neighborhoods to change because we have the power. We have the power to keep drugs out of our neighborhood. We have the power to keep violent people out of our neighborhood. We can do it. We can do it. We're not willing to do it. Why? Because that means dealing with your neighbor. That means dealing with your brother. That means changing your own actions. That means people that you know that maybe you care about are doing things that they ought not. And that means having difficult conversations and confrontations and breaking relationships with people that you know, that you hang with, that you care about, but they're doing bad stuff. So the implications of actually fixing the neighborhood means that we got to go through some pain and suffering ourselves. And people don't want to do that. People would rather argue with the cops, debate the cops, fight the cops, bait the cops, do all this other stuff, when the bottom line is that there's a violent person here who's basically, to me, looking at that criminal record, sound like a terrorist to me. You rather argue with the cops when they're coming after somebody bad. I've never seen a neighborhood rally around the killing of an innocent person. If an old lady gets killed by a stray bullet or look, if that guy who shot all those cops, if I was walking down the street with my son and that guy tried to rob me and for whatever reason was unhappy with me and shot me, there would be more of an, and then a couple weeks later he was killed by the cops. There will be more outcry against the cops killing him than for him killing me. And I literally was innocent. I literally did nothing. Whereas he's a criminal with an extensive record. I don't understand this. I don't understand black people's need to defend criminals. I just don't get it. I'm telling you, I don't know if I've ever seen the black community rally around somebody who was murdered, who was literally a decent, innocent person. I mean, you could argue, like, if you feel as though a cop unjustly kills somebody, then you're going to say that person's innocent. But like 9.9 times out of 10, those people are criminals. Doesn't mean that they automatically deserve to be shot. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the amount of outrage and stuff. You know what happens when a good guy gets killed? When a good guy gets killed, people go on social media and they give long typed speeches about, they sigh and they give these long speeches and about how things must change in the hood or whatever. When a cop kills somebody, people are ready to take up arms. If your brother, who's a good guy, who's a good dad and all this stuff, if he gets killed by another one of you from the same neighborhood, y'all should be coming after him like that. The way that y'all come after the cops. I'm not even saying don't defend the cops. I'm saying, where's the consistency? It's a big joke. The whole social justice thing, the whole anger and all of that is just a big joke. You just don't like cops. It's like you care more about the cops, hating the cops, than you do about the actual actions of killing. You just care. You just only care when they do it. You don't care when we do it. When we kill each other, it's expected. And I just don't understand it. And people will defend. You know how many people risk their safety or risk their safety and risk their freedom by surrounding the cops and harassing them, and not only that, putting other people in danger because you out there baiting the cop. You don't know if that's a good cop, bad cop. You don't know if that's a good disciplined cop with self-control. You don't know if he's a loose cannon. Anything could have popped off there, and you could have put you jumping up in the cop's face. You could have put that whole neighborhood in danger. Partly because they ain't had no damn business out there. They shouldn't have been out there, right? But then number two, since all those people were out there, they're putting themselves in the line of fire for anything that could happen. Like, and you want to egg the cops on. Come on. And all of this. You don't realize that one of them cops, you're on camera. All your friends are recording it and thinking it's funny. You're on camera. What's going to happen when a cop pulls you over a month from now? You going to be talking about you got a bad rap. No, you the same dude that was in the cop's face. You begging him. Whatever happens to you at that point, you deserve. And I hope you get it tenfold. People have no respect for authority. This is one of the biggest problems in the black community. People have no respect for authority. People do as they see fit, as the Bible calls it. People do as they see fit. People do whatever. There's no rules in the hood. The only rules is like, don't tell on somebody else who's doing something bad. That's like the only rule. That video speaks volumes to the condition. That video just speaks volumes to the condition that the black communities all across the country is in. You got all this anger. And let me tell you, look, I've lived in Philly all my life. I grew up in North Philly. I've only lived out of Philly 2 years. I'm 38 years old. I'll be 39 in a month. I've lived out of Philly only 2 years. And when I did, I lived in Upper Darby, which is like right there. I've never had a bad run-in with a cop based off of me being put. Look, I got pulled over and I ain't having no insurance. Twice, unfortunately. I got pulled over one time and all my stuff expired. All my registration expired. My insurance had run out. I was going through a terrible depression and I was just zombied out. I didn't take care of none of my business. And I got a ticket. And I'm not saying that things don't happen to other people. I had a time when, because I worked far, my kids were far away, I was still driving without insurance. I had 2 white cops pull me over. They waited a whole half an hour for a friend to come to get my car. They literally waited a whole half an hour, and they looked like they would have waited longer. They wasn't even in no rush to get, rather than taking my car or something else. The whole point is, you know why? I didn't argue with them. I didn't get hostile. I sat there, followed directions, gave them the information they needed, and was on my way. Anytime, there have been times I've been followed by the cops for no reason. I've been pulled over once for illegal tint, which was like super light. You barely could tell it was tinted. I never had any problems. I never got beat or anything like that. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, if the cops are killing black people without cause, if the cops are corrupt and evil, then the last thing that you ought to be doing is provoking the cops. Especially they patrol your neighborhood. You're going to see them again. There's a lot of cops that's out on bikes and they have foot patrols and that sort of stuff. And you egg them on. Like, why? It makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand people's logic. So you have these corrupt, evil cops that you talk about all the time, but now you're going to make things worse by harassing them when they're actually, at least in this situation, doing their job. The power of choice. The power of choice. I wish more people understood it and appreciated it and respected it, because you're all but guaranteeing that the policing in your neighborhood gets worse than whatever it is you're complaining about. For who? Not for a great stand-up guy who's working at a soup kitchen. Not for a guy that's raising a family and he runs like a JV football team and all of this and takes in orphans. It's for a guy who's a criminal, who's just a menace to the neighborhood. I don't get it. But yet we sit back and blame everything on white people. Look at how we act. We don't want things to change. It's easier to blame somebody else. That's all I got to say about it. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm like 2 miles from where that took place at. I drive past there all the time, to the point where I was watching the video and my son said, I recognize this. Like, who knows?